What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, Henrik the Wreck?
You know me, Chris. It's here. It's time. It's time for the Rage Quit Show.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of things I want to rage out today, man. We got a jam-packed show for everybody that's tuning in live on YouTube, Meta, and Twitch. So hold on to your controllers, man. We got a lot to unpack. You just might be sucked into the vortex of all the mayhem, or if you haven't even known, well, you're about to get in tune with what the hell is going on in the gaming world today. But we always like to have a little bit of fun at the top of the show. Start off the show with the bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's get it. Popular streamer XQC just went full barrel blast on Nintendo after struggling to access Donkey Kong Bonanza through its virtual game card. So apparently jumping through digital hoops isn't part of the banana slinging fun, and he absolutely lost it on his latest stream. So check out the meltdown, and it's more explosive than a DK ground pound.
I don't get it. Yo, I buy a game, let me use it however the fuck I want, bitch ass. Like, I just bought a $100 game right there, right then, right now. I just bought that on my account on this console. Don't leave me this on their console. Yo, shut up, bitch! I bought the game! I bought the game, you fucking bitch! Christ, this fucking loser shit. I'm actually annoyed.
That's the internal monologue of a lot of people with their thoughts on the whole virtual game card thing.
Yeah, that's some loser type shit, right? You're already taking an L when you're buying a digital good from Nintendo. But then again, you know, don't be the guy. Have you ever seen that other clip too? That's just before we jumped on air, where the guy won the nostalgia of Donkey Kong, so he painted his physical card yellow, just like Donkey Kong 64, and that didn't work out too well. It got stuck inside the Nintendo Switch too. Oh my Lanta. Oh, that's a lot of pain. But let's jump right on into the comments. This one says, he's right though. I can't stand how Nintendo always makes you jump through tiny hoops to get anything done. Do you feel like that's the way with the Nintendo Switch 2 and their virtual game card, Henrik?
Yeah, it feels a little antiquated in a way, you know, a little sleazy. Because I mean, I bought the game, just like XQC said. I bought the game. I should be able to do whatever the hell I want with it.
Yeah, but look at this comment though. They might fight you though, Henrik, because it goes, I don't know, man. He's always finding dumb issues, laughing my ass off. I bought the game, it runs. I have multiple accounts, and I had an old Switch. Really wasn't hard at all. But I think that's kind of like the argument though, where even though you're playing a single player game, right, Henrik? It's like, why do I always have to verify through an online setting just to be able to play a game, just because Nintendo wants to check the back end that you're not playing the same game on multiple consoles? I think that's kind of lame.
No, it definitely is. It really is. It's like, come on, man. Like, I spend money. Let me at least play the game, you know, that I spend money for, especially when it's $100.
Yeah, like Nintendo's starting to turn into the Disney password crackdown, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh man, it's horrible. And then I'll never understand this obsession over the Nintendo. All the games are the same the last 20 years, and they've been releasing it over and over again. $100 for this shit is offensive to consumer intelligence. Jiggly boy. I can't believe I'm saying that. Jiggly boy. I'm with you. Well, I think it's crazy.
I know Chris is a big hater of Nintendo. Me personally, I'm not.
I'm not a hater. I'm just hating the consumer habits of gamers. I'm just a hater over the consumer habits that we're placing forward. You know what I mean? And like, I just hate that Nintendo Switch 2 just doesn't care. They're riding on the nostalgia train. And clearly my voice doesn't mean shit to lots of gamers around the world, because we just found out today here in the United States, they just broke history. They just passed the PlayStation 4 for being the highest selling console ever.
Yep.
Right? So, like, who cares what the hell Chris Collins has to say? But that doesn't take away my gripe with Nintendo. But let's keep things moving, because a Helldivers 2 player found out the hard way that not everyone appreciates interpretive dance on the battlefield. So one moment you're expressing yourself with the heroic pose, and then the next you're back at the title screen wondering what just happened. Like, what the hell? So it turns out freedom isn't the only thing getting dropped in this game.
Valid crash out, maybe?
Yeah, right. I mean, you know what? I feel it's a valid crash out because I can't boot anybody out. But when I play any kind of style of battle royale game or maybe even an extraction shooter, if I hear a little kid on the other end, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, nah, like, you know, send in the professionals. I'm not doing this. I don't want no spy kids, okay?
What if the kid plays better than you, though, Chris?
All right, that's true. That has happened, and that's why I don't like playing with them, because they're a lot better than me, okay? You exposed me, Henrik, but truly a war crime. How dare he express joy in a game about mass alien genocide? Yeah, you know, I thought teamwork makes the dream work, not exiling you out from the mission.
That's not freedom words you're talking there, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, that's true. I guess you get to express whether you hate somebody in a part of your squad or not. Maybe hate's not the right word, but I think the gamers know what I was trying to say. And then the next comment says, in a consensus among the community, that any crash out after the scout handshake emote is deemed, in all caps, valid. Is that the case, Henrik?
Well, you know, if you're gonna do that to some random person and they're the owner of the lobby.
I'm the random person that just did it to you. Are you kicking me out?
I'll think about it.
You better find another player too. You better find another player too.
If I don't know you, I think I'm gonna kick you out.
But I'm saying you do know me, and I do that to you. You still gonna kick me out?
Maybe just temporarily.
Oh, damn it. And then they would not last a second in the Xbox 360 voice chat. Damn, they ain't lying.
Yeah, those were different times, though. You know?
Very, very different times. I mean, especially when people were a little too elaborate with the artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, those gamer tags. And then all of a sudden, they want to ban ass. I used to be a part of the ass clan, right? Now that you can't even do anymore, man. Man, sad times. We're getting a little too soft. But, you know, there's now a game called Coldplay Canoodlers. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Well, you can play this game. It's available for free. Players rack up points by spotting the astronomer CEO getting cozy in the crowd. And for those confused why this pixelated PDA hunt is going viral, well, Coldplay accidentally live streamed what looked like the CEO's backstage romance mid-concert. And so let's cue the internet doing what it does best, turning drama into a leaderboard.
Just found you. There you are.
Gotcha. I know. Isn't that hilarious how like people are still continuing to ride on this? And I know now Coldplay is like captivating it, making it into very funny blockbuster moments. And so, yeah, you know, oh, wow. Okay, someone's taking shots at Coldplay. Coldplay hasn't made a single in years. Last night, they made 2.
Oh, shit.
Pretty funny. But then
that's
again,
a low blow.
That is a low blow. I mean, the Immortal, it sounds like you're kind of expressing. I get it. Not always my kind of music either. I'm a punk, hard rock, heavy metal kid. But there's no doubt they're selling out massive stadiums all across the world right now, whether you hate them or not. And then, has someone made a Where's Waldo style book of this yet? Oh, that would actually be really, really cool if they can kind of, do something kind of a little bit different. I don't know.
Just kind of mix them into the crowd, make them a little discreet.
Yeah.
You can still find them.
Yeah, he doesn't always have to necessarily be like in a historical place like in the United States. Maybe you can set him off into Metrovania or some shit like that and try to find him in there. Who knows? Hey, we'll take our what do you want to set our percentage for the idea, Henrik? Maybe like 2%.
2%? I was thinking more like 10 or 15.
Well, I'm just dropping the idea. I'm not going to do all the work. We got to let the developers do it. And then last, all right, y'all, you need to relax. The moment is over. Are we? Yeah, I think the hype's a little.
It has been dragged out a little bit.
Yeah, I think even when I played that game, I probably got to like 40 points and I was like, okay, I'm done. I get the point. Very, very funny. Very funny idea. But yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So Henrik the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and look out for ghosts, because we're going to have to in this next entry for pause or repeat.
Let's get it, baby.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Shadow Labyrinth. Despite the name, Shadow Labyrinth is actually a reimagining of Pac-Man. Yes, that Pac-Man, as odd as it may seem. So keep in mind that they're definitely trying something different as we go over the gameplay. The gameplay of Shadow Labyrinth falls into the genre of 2D Metroidvania, so expect to backtrack at points when you get certain abilities to open new pathways. And like with the usual for this genre, you'll want to take note of areas that are inaccessible as a result. Fortunately, this is a modern game with modern conveniences like map markers and landmark indicators to show you things you should revisit. As for combat, your bread and butter is your sword. With it, you'll be able to perform combos or parry. Your attacks also can be augmented by items you can equip and upgrades you can purchase. You'll also get some traversal abilities, of course, and using your companion Puck, you can enter a mini Puck mode on certain rail segments in a sort of callback to the original Pac-Man. All in all, it's pretty much following the standard for a game of this genre. So how is the story? Is it a standout at all? The story throws you into the unknown right away. You'll control number 8, a soul enlisted by the yellow drone Puck to help reclaim the alien planet you are on. Puck is your guide as well as fighting companion, and together you'll uncover some memories once lost to number 8. Surely it won't be so easy to achieve our goals, right? But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
Pac-Man is back. Or is it? Because can you really call this Pac-Man when it's so vastly different from the Pac-Man that we really know?
Yeah, you know, Henrik, this is what happens when Pac-Man gets tired of chasing fruit and starts chasing existential dread, right? You know, Shadow Labyrinth feels like Pac-Man dropped acid, got imprisoned in space, and then woke up thinking he's like in a Metrovania game. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I guess he's been hanging out with good old Samus Aran a little too much, you know, getting lost on a alien planet. Literally, the premise just entirely feels like a Metroid game. Yeah. But you're not playing Samus the Bounty Hunter. You're playing just some random swordsman who just gets woken up, not really knowing what you got to do, but you got your companion, you know, Puck, the Pac-Man guy, and he's going to tell you what you got to do. Yeah. But in terms of like the combat, I mean, did this feel satisfying to you, Chris? Did you feel like every time you killed something, you were like, yes, I did something?
Yeah, I mean, when you play as the swordsman, he's like a dude with a prosthetic Winter Soldier arm and a giant sword and a floaty orb friend, as you reference Puck, which is suspiciously close to Bucky, I gotta say. So is that a coincidence? I don't know. Maybe Marvel lawyers are probably typing as we speak. Don't you think, Henrik? I mean, I think the gameplay is, you know, it's fluid, moves fast. You know, it's definitely got that 2D platformer that it's all there, but I don't know. I mean, how, were you kind of vibing with this in a sense?
So the thing is, Metroidvanias are like very, very many of them are out there, and very good ones at that. You know, obviously the name of the genre references Metroid and Castlevania, like the Symphony of the Night style Castlevania games. Yeah. And those two by themselves, you know, Symphony of the Night, and especially if you were to even go for like the latest Metroid game in this style, Metroid Dread, those are like the gold standard of what Metroidvania games should be like. Yeah. And does this do it justice? Well, to some extent, yes, I'd say it actually does. You know, especially it being a reimagining of an old IP that hasn't really been touched in forever. They did a pretty good job of, you know, integrating the idea of Pac-Man into a Metroidvania, but I also think pretty satisfying.
But I also think it is also important to let the gamers know too, Henrik, that this is technically a follow-up to Secret Level, the anthology from Amazon Prime, which means the lore is deep, or at least confusing enough to pretend it is, right? I mean, it's totally random. I mean, Pac-Man is trapped, you're chosen, there's a war, possibly a galactic, possibly emotional. Either way, I don't know. Every time I was playing this game, I kept thinking about, you're a horror fan, so you're going to love this, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Walked so Shadow Labyrinth could spiral into the madness, right? You know, it's always like, you know, the game Steamboat Willie, you know, is being, you know, into like this new, you know, first-person shooter. You know, we're starting to see more of this start to stand out. We understand that Pac-Man has been locked inside an arcade cabinet since the early days, right? 1980s. It gives off that, you know, retro futurism that, you know, we're soon to see with Marvel's Fantastic Four first step. You know, you kind of see glimpses of them, you know, trying to have that old school nostalgia, but try to keep it futuristic for a newer audience. Will that pan out? Does that work out?
I mean, at the same time, though, you see this in all the genres of media nowadays. I was actually just having a conversation with my girlfriend about this last night, how so many movies are, the successful ones are just sequels or reboots. And it's like, that's kind of depressing because that means we're not really getting anything that's successful. That's like a new idea entirely. And it's the same thing with games. I know you love remasters and reboots.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh,
and the unfortunate thing is they do make money. That's why they make them. And, this is kind of a similar thing. It's kind of like you can consider this almost a reboot of Pac-Man. Now, do you think that they did a good job in kind of reintroducing the IP, or do you feel like they should have just left it as its own idea and not tried to tie in Pac-Man at all? Because I almost felt like it was a little shoehorned in,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, 110%. That's absolutely how I feel as well. I do appreciate that we're trying to do something a little bit different. Like, I totally understand. In Shadow Labyrinth, you're gonna slash, you're gonna dodge, absorb enemies like you're some roided out Kirby. You're gonna be spending aura to boost attacks or unlock that sweet ESP bar, and those are all things that are, very different and trying to reinvent the wheel in a sense for maybe a modern audience like Gen Alpha or whatever the hell we're going to call them next. And
those who don't even know what arcade cabinets are.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't slip up in this game though. These checkpoints are stingier than a gotcha pull. And if you die, back to the beginning, scrub. I think that's the toughest thing for me.
You know what I'm going to say here, Chris?
God damn it.
That's a skill issue.
It is
literally a skill issue.
But did you also spend 90% of your aura on upgrades and then 10% crying on those checkpoints, or the lack of?
Well, you know what, Chris? I'm kind of used to that sort of experience from Metroidvanias because a lot of them are pretty unforgiving. Look at even a lot of games in the Metroid series can be pretty difficult, where you'll go maybe 20-30 minutes without a checkpoint, and then if you die on a boss, you get booted all the way back to that save station.
Yep.
Same thing with a great example would be Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is not an easy game by any means.
Well, I guess Elden Ring is helping us build
kind of the genre.
No, you're absolutely true about all of that. But even the artwork too. I don't know about you, Henrik. I understand they were trying to do I keep saying retro futuristic approach. But it kind of does feel a little low budget though in a sense. But it's weirdly charming. It kind of in a sense.
It feels like they didn't put any budget into the art style almost.
Well, to me, I was kind of giggling when I was looking at the art direction because it's kind of like part Tron, part cereal box maze, and a very big shift in Namco's direction to introduce a phase where every classic icon is getting a dark reboot. And someone's got to keep their eye on Tetris next. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to go fight off some blocky dude. That's a character. You know what I mean?
Or
a first-person
here's
experience.
An idea. It's the thing that's dropping the blocks that we go fight.
Yeah, or we have to dodge it as we're trying to climb up the hill like Peak. You know what I mean? It's no, but look, I respect what Namco's going for, but Shadow Labyrinth feels like it's trying to evolve Pac-Man into a Soulsborne protagonist, and I don't know if we're ready. I really don't. The boss fights are tough, save points are rare. Yeah, I'm gonna still bitch about that. Gameplay can be surprisingly addictive, but the whole thing screams skill issue if you're not locked in. Okay, so is it worth that run? Maybe even two if it lands on the Game Pass or on sale. But for now, I can't believe I'm saying this. It's a soft pause. It's kind of hovering over the, let's resume play.
Okay.
But I'm not quite ready to commit on this one. What do you say, Henrik?
Yeah, this, unfortunately, it's a solid game, but it really feels more like a very low-budget indie game more than anything else.
Yeah.
And even in the genre of Metroidvania, there's better games out there to go spend your money on that are always going to be on sale or always just a few bucks to put down to play. And because of that, it is a pause for me. But you know what? I appreciate them trying something different because not a lot of times do you see something so vastly trying to take a different approach to things, a risk, where they're going to take an old IP and completely reimagine it to a whole different genre.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I mean, what the hell's going to be next? I have no idea. Let's get a Luigi's Mansion, but more in a mature Resident Evil style. What do you say, gamers?
I don't know if Nintendo would be so okay with that. But.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, well, they were willing to bring the Resident Evil franchise over to their, GameCube at the time.
Yeah, but you're not touching their classic characters.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Very, very true. But hey, we want to know from you, the gamers. Have you played Shadow Labyrinth? Is this a pause to play something new or a repeat for endless fun? Let us know what's good. But stick around because we got a whole lot more to discuss on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So, Henrik the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh, yeah. Let's get that ball rolling down the hill, Chris.
Hey, let's get it. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host Henrik the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. We're officially living in a digital payment denied world, gamers. What does that even mean? Well, Valve just updated its Steam onboarding guide with the new rule for developers, letting payment processors and banks play bouncer for what gets through the velvet rope. And so the rule is super vague, and it's clear as mud, and no one knows which adult-only content is getting the boot, but that hasn't stopped gamers worldwide from expressing their concerns with the following. So let's go ahead and dive on into the anarchy that is brewing up at this time. And so the first comment reads, my big question is, why the F are banks dictating what we purchase? I get it's about money laundering or trafficking, but if laws allow such games, then there shouldn't be anything to talk about here. Yeah, that is kind of wild. It's like the same argument too, like when you go to like crypto.com arena and they won't even take paper bills anymore. Everything has to be digital. And it's like, you always make that joke in a sense that Visa, PayPal, and MasterCard are sitting at the board of directors for these major stadiums. And they're just like, listen, look, we want you to swipe so we can take that 2 to 3%.
Yeah.
Every single time. But like in this case,
it really is kind of like a crazy thought to think that there's only a handful of companies that are in charge of all the digital payment processing that everyone does.
It definitely really is. I mean, and then you also get, the whole thing is absurd. The idea that people think payment processors should the ones deciding what content is acceptable is dystopian, short-sighted. If the content isn't illegal, then they should entirely agnostic on who utilizes their service. Visa and MasterCard are the arbitrators of morality. Really? Or arbiters of morality.
Arbiters, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it does feel like that way in a sense. But where are you going to go? You know what I mean? Like, where are you going to go?
There's no one else. There's literally no other way to process digital payments except through these people. So if they really do decide to do something like this and put pressure on the platform, they technically can.
And that's why it is the more and more each and every day. We do live in a more of a dystopian world in a sense, because it's that same argument that people have about freedom of speech, especially when you're expressing yourself online, especially, I don't know if anybody's seen that, Jubilee video that's going around that's making the waves, and you're going to get certain people with certain opinions that you're just like, oh my Lenta, and you're like, we really shouldn't be giving the mic to everybody. But then again, it's like some people say it's good to hear from everybody, and then there's others that want to censor things. I'm not for censorship. I'd rather have someone sound like a dumbass online and we expose you for the whole entire world instead of, having people that want to come in and try to tackle, let's say, X or Meta or something that someone said on Twitch just because you don't vibe with their certain opinion. Yeah, it's crazy, but I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is it is kind of wild that we do have these, payment processors that can, and banks that can step in and say what they want their company and their bottom dollar, or in a sense, be related to certain things. It's like, it's no different than them going after Pornhub, right? Because Pornhub had a lot of situations where there was, underage content and they didn't want to be associated with it. We totally understand. But then when it kind of, becomes like a push for adult only content, what does that mean? I mean, I think everybody can vibe with, the idea that it's stupid crazy that Steam for all these years supported weird rapey incest kind of style of games. Like, no one's gonna miss that kind of shit. But like, when is enough? And I think that's where I have an issue with this. But then this is very bad. Payment processors shouldn't care about what games you're buying. Allowing them to curate literally everything on the largest and most favorite store on the market will only lead to dead ends. And then a follow-up comment reads, no, it will also and more importantly lead to detailed tracking of everything you buy and do. In this era, information is power, and it was handed over to them without hesitation. Every non-cash purchase you've ever made to contributed to this, remember that going forward. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this kind of stuff is very, very real, especially when you consider, you know, like the impact even social media has on us. You might be staring at one very fine looking chick or you might be staring at one fine looking PSA 10 baseball card, and then all of a sudden your whole feed's going to be curated towards your liking. So yeah, I mean, it's wild times that we live in. And then the next comment reads, it's not only that, Collective Shout is at fault for the gamers that were banned this week on Steam, and they want other games gone too. Detroit Become Human, games with LGBTQ in it, etc. Things are currently going backwards quickly, and people just let it happen. So, yeah, I mean, it's what's next? What is going to occur?
Yeah, no, it makes you wonder, really, what games else are they going to target and say, hey, we don't like, in that comment said, Detroit Become Human has child abuse in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, it's not really like the whole point of the game. The whole point of it being in the game is to show the dark side of humanity.
I mean, that's why it's so crazy to think, as we reported on Silent Hill F, that, you know, Collective Shout is a group that's based in Australia. So shortly after Steam's new moderation guidelines went live, you know, Australian anti-porn activist group known as Collective Shout claimed responsibility. And, you know, they are the ones that have ramped up, you know, content moderation. They are, you know, self-subscribed, feminist, nonpartisan organization. And also, which is very ironic, and the point I mentioned Australia again, is Australia is banning the game Silent Hill F from even being available to access to buy.
Too gory, apparently.
Yeah, and about a schoolgirl. But, you know, this comment that we have on screen by Yoko Taro, actually, the issue of credit card payment companies refusing payments for legal adult content while regulations exceeding the law have been applied to publishing in other areas. It feels like a different level of danger when payment processors, which are tied to the entire distribution infrastructure, can make such decisions on their own. If payment processors are controlled, it could even be used for speech control in other countries. Yeah, fair enough. It's so true.
And if the viewers don't know who Yoko Taro is, he is the director of Nier Automata, the other Nier games, and a couple of the Drakengard games. So he's been around for a while, and he does kind of toe the line with some of his directing, as you know, directing things to be a little on the more risque side. But he's got a good point, you know, well, that it ends up being, does this encroach on freedom of speech and freedom of expression in art?
Well, I mean, we really see it with, you know, like, you know, Middle East countries, you know, like there's certain gameplay in certain games or cut scenes like Dragon Age, the Veilguard, the Bod, that could become very problematic and then just totally invisible to those kind of style of gamers, you know, across, you know, that landscape of the earth. And it's just wild to think that that's even something that's still happening in the year 2025. And then the last comment reads, why do they think they control what we see on the internet? If I want to search giraffe porn games on Steam, why do they care? And then the follow-up comment reads, don't tell them about Resident Evil 6. Yeah, my eyes got scarred, so I'm forcing everybody else to get scarred too. Never heard about this joke until today's show. So,
yeah, maybe we shouldn't bring up what's in the game.
I know, right? Exactly. But I mean, that's the point, right? I mean, so Henrik, you know, so Valve's letting payment processors decide what stays on Steam. Sure, no one's shedding a tear for those disgusting incest rape games. I mean, seriously, good riddance. But that doesn't. But this does still sound a little problematic. I mean, like, what's next? Are we going to be removing Schedule 1, for example, because it dares to teach the virtual chemistry with the side of Heisenberg?
Yeah, that is the whole thing. You know, like you were saying, I don't even personally care that some of these games on Steam got removed. I wasn't playing them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I did filter, or not filter, but I guess allow my Steam page to show the adult games, because there's been some games that I've tried that have needed it. Like there's even that new Hellraiser game that's coming out that if you even want to view the Steam page, because it's so gory, you need to turn on adult settings to be seen in Steam. But at the end of the day, like I'm not going on Steam trying to look for games where I'm like trying to do these taboo things to other characters. So I don't really shed a tear for that.
Yeah.
But what does feel bad is the idea that if this is possible for them to really care about what the money is being spent on, and you know, I can then let them dictate what is actually being sold and purchased on the platform. And it really does bring up the question, what's next? What are they going to go for next? And I guarantee you, they probably would like to go towards some of these games that are out there already that do depict some things that maybe aren't the most family friendly and you know, like Detroit.
Well, that's why I say Schedule 1. I mean, it's made by one developer. It's technically still considered an indie game, and he's generating massive revenue, and he's an easy target.
Yeah, I was going to say, exactly. In that position of that developer, he's only one guy. What is he going to do if a company comes after him that has a team of lawyers? Well, he doesn't have a team of lawyers.
I mean, it just reminds me of that viral clip when the dad walks in on his son playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and he's in the strip club, and then the kid's trying to defend himself. He's like, no, I had to pick up the package, the drug package, right? And he goes, oh, that's all you saw? Did you like it? Did you like what you saw? You know what I mean? So it's like, what's next? They're going to go after Grand Theft Auto 6 and some of the profanity and, you know, sexual content that's going to be induced throughout the gameplay. I mean, good riddance, but like, to be fair to the house that Gabe Newell built, right? That is Valve. I don't think he has much choice. I mean, they are saying that they had to remove these offending games because, quote, because the loss of payment methods would prevent customers from being able to purchase other titles and game content on Steam. So they were very afraid, and you know, unfortunately, they can't go toe-to-toe with Visa and MasterCard. They're just way too powerful. And so, yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can really do other than, you know, just raise awareness and let you guys know that there are groups out there like the Collective Shout that has a reputation, you know, for this kind of Puritan crusade in a sense that's targeting everything and everyone that doesn't align with their agenda. And I find that to be very, very problematic. But what do you say? I mean, do you feel like this is the right move for payment processors and banks to step in and say no? Or do you feel like Steam might need to do a little bit of better job of, you know, with the valid process about what games do get accepted onto the platform for all gamers to buy? Let us know what's good. But all right, player 2, let's go ahead and pick up the controller because what's next on the quest log, Henrik the Wreck?
An Italian YouTuber is facing criminal charges for reviewing emulator consoles, some loaded with ROMs. And the plot thickens.
Oh,
the police didn't start with him. They raided his mom's house first.
Mom!
Just imagine that. You know,
that would be kind of scary.
You're
scary.
You're the parent of someone, and they don't even go after them. They go after
you're thinking he maybe committed a crime. What did he do? You know,
it's like, oh, what happened? You know,
was he a part of a crypto scam? Did he, you know, Ponzi scheme? Did he kill somebody? And they're like, wait, what? He's reviewing what now? That's
it sounds like a little absurd, right?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. But once I'm going to get this name maybe potentially wrong because I'm not Italian, but Francesco Salicini.
Well, we all know him as Once Were Nerd, right?
Yes, exactly. That is his YouTube handle, and he got word that that all happened, and he fully cooperated, thinking everything would be fine, except it wasn't. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because now he's missing 30 consoles, a phone, and possibly his freedom while gamers everywhere are debating whether reviewing emulation is now a crime scene.
Yeah, it's definitely going to start to become problematic. I can only assume that this is crazy. So I'm curious on what people are going to say. What are you in for? I pirated games that are no longer purchasable.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, of all things to get sent to jail over.
By this logic, I should be put in prison for around 2,305 years.
Yeah, don't snoop around on this guy's hard drive.
Yeah, maybe you
some
don't.
hidden secrets.
Yeah, don't go visiting Italy anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Nintendo lawyers, oh boy. And then which is worse, emulating old games or running a pedophile island? Apparently it's the former. Yeah, it's starting to seem like that's where our focus is at.
Defense of Epstein and that whole situation going on.
Oh my Lance, isn't that crazy, dude? Yeah. And then he's lucky that Nintendo didn't airstrike his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
He'd just be wiped off the face of the planet without anyone knowing. He'd be swimming with the fishes.
I don't think Nintendo's that smart. I think Nintendo would actually just, call the SWAT team. Get your house swatted on.
I mean, Nintendo's the same company that sent 2 guys in suits to a random dude in Brazil's house. Tell him, stop making that emulator you're working on.
No, that's fair. That's true. Very true. And then illegal for us to pirate or violate copyrights, but totally fine for billionaires to do it to build AI out with. Yeah. I mean, media law is always so funny. I mean, there's always that discussion about, copyright law and owning the photo to the video to your content. And then that's when the whole Kick and Twitch community kicks in, where it's like the whole clip farming era. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like people are always debating about how is that person able to utilize and play that person's content all over their feed. And then, other people get picked on for having a photo on their website. Like, how does that even add up? Like, you know what I mean?
It's just silly.
Yeah, it's stupid stuff. And I mean, copyright laws are just so wasteful and crooked and so outdated. And if piracy is a crime, then anti-consumerism should be illegal. So, Henrik, isn't it kind of wild that, that YouTubers facing possible jail time for reviewing emulators, yet you informed me, you were like, dude, you do realize that you can, what is it, Henrik? Jump on Amazon and you can literally get preloaded raw memory cards like it's candy at a checkout. And I was like, wait, what the hell are you even talking about? It like, I see it all the time on Facebook ads. I didn't realize that like Amazon, a major corporation's doing something like this. So like, are we really busting down mom's house over retro Mario while Bezos is speedrunning profit margins?
Yeah, and I get it. It's a little bit of a difference between the situation with this guy and Amazon's storefront having those listings, because those companies selling those SD cards and external drives, they're going to be a company that's going to be around until they get caught with a strike of some sort. And then they're just going to go open another company, because a lot of them are based in China on top of that, and other countries as well, not just China, but basically places where rules like that don't as easily apply for copyright laws that are written usually in the US.
Yeah.
So that is the unfortunate thing, is they're probably pretty hard to combat, but it makes it really just look silly when you have a guy who was just making YouTube videos and he gets, tracked down by the cops, and instead, why wouldn't the cops just put that effort towards actually trying to help Amazon maybe shut down these companies? And,
well, they would rather pick on the smaller guy. It's probably too big of a task for Italy to even go after just a major corporation like Amazon. And the potential penalties are stiff. There's an Italy copyright law, Article 171, that allows for prison terms between 6 months and 3 years. But, this statute was written in 1941. Okay. So I don't know if they knew what the hell this digital era was going to be. Yeah, but the fine does get a little hefty.
Really feel like an idea.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't the printer press. You know what I mean? So like the fines can get hefty. I mean, it's a little over 15,000 pounds. It's a lot of money. And then, you start to see images like this that pop up online. Oh, wow. A retro game console. I can get a 128 gigabyte USB drive that can give me, what does that say? 43,000 games? And 74 emulators. And the problem that I have with this is, and let's show another image right here where you get, is that a copyright right there? I mean, that looks like a PlayStation controller. Wait, that's a PS5 controller. Like, wait, is that a Game Boy? Like, what is going on? And so this is why we should be alarmed. I mean, the fact that they're going after this guy, which a lot of cases that he's claiming, and he's provided it on his YouTube channel, where he's going, look, I have invoices with a lot of these companies actually giving me the game. And I always inform my listeners that you should be using these emulators for games that you already own, which, wink, wink, we know that nobody's doing that shit. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so crazy to think that. And I feel like if there's enough countries that are on the same vibe with Italy, it will become a problem where they will press down on Amazon. Will we see that anytime soon? Are you getting that kind of sense, Henrik?
You know, until there's actual changes to the storefront and them actually taking these down, I don't think so, honestly. Yeah. Because I could even go right now and find maybe not the same exact listings because they do rotate, but it's just so easy to find them. You don't even need to go digging. You just look up, game ROMs or anything like that, and you'll easily find them. That's a bit of a problem. Yeah, because I mean, at least that's what the companies that own these games want to make it.
Do it like this. We just showed up on air a device that claims it has 43,000 plus games, 74 emulators. Yep. Yeah, we covered last week on Patch Notes that the FBI seized multiple Nintendo emulation sites, claiming a phony number of over $170 million stolen. I think there's a little bit more that you could go after, like Amazon allowing a lot of these third-party markets to come on their platform to sell quote-unquote stolen copyright video games. We're moving towards a cloud gaming era. That's why they're cracking the whip. It's crazy. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he doesn't serve any kind of jail time. He shouldn't even be fined a single dollar or euro. No. None of that. None of that. It's totally ludicrous. Once we're nerd, we're here. We're with you, brother, and we're raging out for you. So do you feel like this is wrong? Do you, the gamers, feel like more countries will back Italy? And will we potentially see Amazon get the pressure to start removing emulators and these kind of style of memory card ROMs from their platform? Remove it out of here. Let us know what's good. But let's keep things rolling because Roblox is rolling out a new feature that lets quote unquote trusted connections chat more freely. Well, what the hell does that even mean? Well, only if you pass their age check to prove you're over 13. So yeah, you got to do a facial scan. Yeah, sounds chill, right? Well, only if you're proving it with the facial scan or uploading a government ID. Are you cool with that? I don't know, but sure, I'm over 13, but now you want my passport just so I can call my friend a wanker? Really? I want to call a wanker on my own time. Okay, so is this the future of gaming or just the TSA with extra pixels? So let's see what gamers have to say with the following. Not Roblox asking for my passport like I'm flying internationally.
Yeah, no, seriously, I shouldn't need that just to play your game.
Isn't that the dumbest shit ever? And what Roblox is claiming is that this is, it's no different than a lot of those pushes that we've seen from the last year. You're going to see it in a lot of political style talk shows where they're saying, hey, we need to crack down on teens, having social media. And, part of me in a sense does feel like, yeah, it does kind of come cringy at times when you're on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, Instagram, and you get some young kid and you're like, I don't know. This is a little weird. But then I feel hypocritical because I was that same kid on MySpace. You know what I mean? So it's we all understand that concern, but I don't know if I'd like the idea that Roblox, which I feel like they've been doing this for a while when it comes to mature games, and you're still going to hear little kids pop up in those servers anyways. Are we really okay with more and more companies wanting facial scans and, potential government IDs? I don't know. That's all wild to me. But then a random teenage dad getting photographed at 5 a.m. so he can have access to their Roblox account just because he wants to. He doesn't know how to work the camera. It's too dark, Dad. And then too many companies are comfortable with asking for face scans. It's getting weird. It's getting actually really weird. I could give you one prime example real quickly, Henrik, and just a quick PSA to everybody. go get your physical annually. It's always good to check up on your health, right? And so went in, got the doctor checkup and had to fill out all this kind of crazy paperwork. And then towards the end of this encyclopedia, they basically want you to sign a terms of agreement saying that they want to bring AI into the doctor's office, to transcribe and all that kind of stuff. Yet they want you to do the old school route to write everything in a pen. When all that stuff should be on the computer anyways before I even arrived at the doctor's office. That's one gripe. But it's like it's getting more and more comfortable. They're scanning your voice. They're scanning every kind of, or they're listening on every conversation you're having. They want more facial scans, but then, Roblox will claim, listen, after 30 days, we're going to kill it off. But in some cases we might not. It's weird. That's why I get always like, but then maybe there's a younger kid out there that's probably laughing going, dude, you never have a problem when you put on that stupid Snapchat puppy filter on your face. You know what I mean? But then like you're worried about a facial scan. I get it. And then there's like, can't wait for my data to be part of a data breach. Yeah. You definitely get those in the mail every once in a while. They're like, hey, sorry. I know that you signed up for Jack in the Box reward program, but we got hacked and your information might be out there.
A reminder in the mail. You might want to change your passwords. Okay.
You're like, oh shit, but now he's got my face. And then, so they're going to be collecting the face scans of children on this app just so they can prove they're 13. In it, man. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And that's always like the weirdest thing now. It's like we understand that like Roblox is becoming super, super massive. I mean, obviously it was geared towards kids at one point, but it's really not. I mean, it's become a place where like anybody can kind of start even their own creative freedom, their own venture into video game design.
We talked about how there's like some pretty adult stuff going on the platform of Roblox.
Well, remember they wanted to turn it into a dating app. They still do. They feel like that's a place where you don't necessarily need to do in-person dates. You can vibe with each other virtually, and if you really vibe, love transcends outside the screen, I guess, which is that always baffles me. But then again, we are in a generation that swipes right and then regrets later. Right, Henrik? And then if you're not comfortable, don't let your kids on Roblox. This is the Roblox CEO telling parents not to let their children on the gaming platform if they're that concerned. This was back in March, by the way. So like that's the stance that they feel. And they're like, oh, so you feel uncomfortable with the practices that we want to do? Well, don't be a part of it. And I think that's the problem. Like, Henry.
Yeah, and I mean, it is, maybe a valid reason. But you have a question for me?
I do. I absolutely do. Because, like, is this the future of online gaming, or are we just, like, soft launching the end of those glorious, unhinged Call of Duty lobbies? Like, I feel like we're getting super, super soft. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it definitely was a completely different time in those, Modern Warfare 2, original Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
Yeah.
Because, things said at people would not fly nowadays, even in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But even in
the gaming cards.
But in this case with Roblox, it feels wrong, to have. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't necessarily speak from the position of a parent, but it does feel wrong that, if my kid wanted to play Roblox, that I'd have to have them scan their face into their system. And then it's going to be there for whoever knows how long. And like you said, it might get data breached at some point. And, now what's going to happen with the data? It's just out there.
I mean, and that's still a very much valid point, Henrik. And I trust me, I'm so with that. But it's like I'm looking at these style of massively popular video games like Roblox. I think of Fortnite, and I think of Call of Duty. And it's like what we've been saying with the Nintendo Switch 2 and that movement. All it takes is for one studio, one company, one publisher, one developer to be the trendsetter in a sense. Let's move games from $70 to $80 and then $80 to $90. And then, let's hold all of our IP back for Grand Theft Auto 6 because we're potentially anticipating a $100 game. People are waiting to follow up on those kind of things. And so, Fortnite for now is viewed as a teen game, but then, it is very universal in a sense. And like, I would not be surprised, Henrik, if they try to implement this into a lot more games, especially battle royale games. And I would want to submit my government ID or a facial scan. I don't even do the NBA 2K scan. I think that shit's really, really dumb. And so I don't know. I mean, so that is there anything else you want to say about this? I just find it just ludicrous.
Well, in regards to the argument from the company about it being a parenting issue, yes, I agree. You know, a lot of these apps like Roblox and, you know, other forms of entertainment ends up being kind of like a parental replacement where they're just putting their kid in front of the device and saying, go have at it, instead of actually interacting with their kid. But at the same time, don't you think that the platform should have some safeguards to prevent there from being anything encroaching on the privacy of kids in the first place?
Yeah,
that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, and there's already like parental controls even on consoles, and like if your kid's playing on a PC, I mean, my Lord, get with the times. If you don't know how to like safeguard your kid from accessing certain things, holy cow!
You gotta learn.
You gotta learn. If you're a millennial, you should be able to know how to do these things by now. It's a funny joke to say towards your baby boomers, but us millennials, we really don't got an excuse. And so I don't want to see a world in video games where things got to be approved through an unfiltered chat. And even if that was the case, would you even be okay with saying vulgar stuff that's like in this bubble that could potentially get leaked out or monitored by a studio? I don't know. I find that a lot of this very, very fishy. But then we want to know from you, the gamers, how are you vibing with this new trusted connections feature that Roblox is introducing? And will it become a trendsetter for more games to come? Let us know what's good. But Henrik, slide us into the next level. What gaming news has players, you know, just going rogue this week?
Well, Reddit is back at it, ready to throw pixel punches over the latest gamer debate. And what is that question for this week? Well, what's a gaming hill that you will die on?
Standing on top of the ant farm.
Yeah. Are you bravely defending your opinion from atop Mount Unpopular? Or will your gamer colony swarm in like it's a Zerg rush?
Oh, I like that StarCraft reference. Okay, I see you.
Digital battle cries.
Yeah, let's dive on in. People don't criticize Rockstar enough for fumbling of Red Dead Online or lack of Grand Theft Auto 5 single player DLC. Yeah, you know, there was always rumors about that, you know, and is that even a fair argument to say anymore? I mean, they just did release a new update on Red Dead Online, and there are rumors that they're getting, you know, an upgrade for the PS5. So
that's true.
Is that a valid argument anymore?
I feel as commenter probably wanted there to be a bit more support like there is for GTA Online.
Yeah, I feel like you are going to be the only person dying on top of that hill because I'm not vibing with that take. Co-op, player versus everyone over player versus player. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one.
I see what they're saying, though, because a lot of PvP games end up just being very toxic and very sweaty, and you might not end up having the best of times as a result of that. But when you're doing a PvE experience that's co-op, you can play it with friends. You can kind of, you know, expect certain behaviors from the game's NPCs rather than the uncontrollable chaos that is other people from across the world.
It does seem like we are in a co-op player versus everyone world because of Battle Royale, in a sense. So I could see how that is a lot of people. I would assume a lot of people's takes. You know what I mean? You think of PUBG, you think of Fortnite, you think of Marvel Rivals. You know what I mean? Like, no one's, I mean, yeah, there's Street Fighter, there's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat! You know, so yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, I think I'd be up on that hill with them. So I don't think that's a gaming take. Because look, there's over 2.2 thousand people that agree with them. So you're not dying alone on that hill, okay, my friend? And then do not tell me the effing answer to the puzzle unless I ask for it. I hate walking into a puzzle and the characters start thinking out loud. Maybe if I move that box, I could shut the hell up and let me play the game. I think of God of War.
Yeah, no, definitely God of War.
But
big offender of that.
But I have been kind of a stickler. I was playing the Little Nightmare series, and Henrik, you'd be so disappointed in me. I had to go to YouTube. You know, I gave up on one part. I was getting so flustered, and to come to find out, what? I feel it. I really needed someone to shout me instructions because I must have had the contrast a little, you know, I couldn't see shit, okay? And I didn't know it was like right in the shadows the whole entire time. And that kind of stuff pisses me off where I wish I had a little voice dialogue hit.
I think you might still remember that one time I tried streaming, what was that horror game that's biomechanical stuff?
No,
I got stuck on a puzzle for like 30 minutes, guys.
I know, it's the worst. It's like, can I phone a friend? No? Okay, thanks. And
I did not want to pull out the YouTube video, but I almost did.
Right? And then Steam's refund policy should be an industry standard. I swear tutorials have gotten longer since they added that policy. That's actually really funny because that does seem to be the outside noise, right?
Yeah.
The tutorials have gotten drastically longer, or they put unskippable cutscenes. You know what I mean? Like, that's something I feel like is very real in beginning games where you're like, oh my God, I haven't even touched the gameplay yet.
What's particularly annoying about long tutorials also is when they lock you in place and I can't even like move around. And they're telling me things that I already know inherently based on just being a first-person shooter gamer.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that, you know?
Oh, this is always a classic. We hear about this all the time. If there is a waterfall in any game, you damn well better put something interesting behind it. Well, the Indiana Jones game did it in the beginning.
Yes.
That was very, very clever of them. But then you had Star Wars Outlaws that had many opportunities where they could have done something cool, and maybe just a stormtrooper helmet. Anything, something, no,
something. You know, you gotta put something. People are gonna expect there to be something behind that water.
Maybe a broken lightsaber in the ground. I don't know, anything. But then game length is not related to game quality. Some of my favorite games have only lasted a few hours, and others lasted nearly 200. Get rid of the awful padding in games. I've stopped playing mini games because the padding caused me to get tired of the slog long before the game was over. I heard a little, what you thinking, Henrik?
Thinking Ubisoft games where you open up the map and there's a ton of objective and it's like, okay, which of these don't matter?
That's kind of been the joke with Bethesda recently. It's like they release games that are half-baked, you know what I mean? But like, I guess now it's our turn, right? What's the one game opinion you'd scream from the rooftops, even if the rooftop was collapsing under fanboy rage?
You know, this one is a very tough one, but I'm going to say that I really don't like how so many games, the first time you boot it up, it screams at you. Like, the audio levels are just so ramped up. And it's like, dude, if I need to go into the settings to drop it down half, that's a problem.
It's funny that you say that because my morning ritual is watching sports media, and I got to watch my First Take in the morning. But then the minute it transitions into the Pat McAfee show, which they also do it on YouTube, the DP just explodes on TV. It's amazing. It's like the audio in the studio for First Take is totally low compared to them. And it's like, oh shit, where's the TV remote? I'm going to blow out the speakers. Oh my Lanza. Yeah, I think that's a real thing. I'm going to say something that even one of the commenters were already kind of suggesting. I will die on this hill. Graphics and frame rate snobs are the loudest people in the room, and they're also the least fun at parties. They are, dude. I mean, I don't care if a game hits 120 frames per second with ray traced hair physics. I mean, guess what? There's already news about Grand Theft Auto 6 being locked at 60 frames per second. All right, you're still gonna play it. If the game sucks ass and plays like a wet napkin, then I'm out. I'm not caring about the FPS. Okay. Second thing I gotta say, because we did hit a historical moment in history when it comes to the gaming world here in the United States. Well, I hate to inform everybody, or maybe Nintendo fans love it, but Nintendo Switch 2 is now the fastest selling gaming hardware in U.S. history. They sold 1.6 million units in its launch month. And put that in perspective, that's more than the PlayStation 4 in its prime. So nostalgia is clearly undefeated. That's why, they're going after emulation, preloaded ROMs. And so people really looked at those $90 price tags, Henrik, and said, yep, I'm definitely got to get my childhood back. Overpriced, underpowered, and absolutely glorious. I mean, what the hell are we doing? We're not gaming anymore. Gamers, like, what the heck are we doing? We're investing in the warm glow of a CRT memories. Like, this is ludicrous. I don't get it. But maybe it's a hill that I'm only dying on because people are playing the Switch too. and I can't stop them.
Unfortunately, it sold really well.
How, you know, but hey, at least Donkey Kong Bonanza is $50, right?
And I haven't played it yet, but I have heard it's actually a really good game.
Right. Hey, but what is that hill that you are willing to stand your ground, willing to die on? King of the castle, baby. Let us know.
King of the castle.
Good. King of the castle. Hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us live every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show wouldn't be possible. So we want to take a moment towards the tail end of the show to inform all the listeners to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show. So this QR code will lead you directly to the Chris Collins Show YouTube channel.
And you see it. It's right there, you know, staring at you in the face.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Scan it. Go to my YouTube channel.
I know you're laying in, gamers are laying in their bed. It's going to smack you right in the forehead. You might as well scan it. Do what you got to do, gamers. Hey, but no, seriously, we love you guys. Thank you so much. This has been such a blast. And hold on to your controllers, because we're back next week live every Wednesday night on YouTube, Meta, and Twitch. But for now, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you around, gamers. Peace.
See ya.